going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Day 2 of NFL free agency continues to press along, and we'll have you covered throughout all of free agency and, of course, throughout the rest of the offseason as well. NFL Draft will be here before we know it. This is the time to subscribe, so hit that big red button, share that link below with a friend, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. If you want more Chiefs news, rumors, free agency, and draft coverage, we have you covered all offseason long. Welcome in to the Kansas City Chiefs Report. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Let's get you caught up on the latest free agency buzz, of course, after restructuring Frank Clark and signing Justin Reid last night, the apparent exit of Tyrann Mathieu. More storylines to get into today. Number one, are the Chiefs favorites for Jarvis Landry? Certainly a lot of buzz around Landry after the Browns released him yesterday. We talked about him a little bit, but more information has popped on him. Last night, ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that the two teams that have expressed the most interest in Jarvis Landry are the Kansas City Chiefs and the New Orleans Saints. Now, for New Orleans, they are on Deshaun Watson watch. They are one of the teams in the mix to trade for Watson. So to bring in a guy like Landry would obviously help sweeten that pot. But for the Chiefs, I think this makes a lot of sense because the Chiefs need another weapon at wide receiver. You've got Tyreek Hill. You've got Travis Kelce. You got McCole Hardman. I think that there's a decent chance they're going to lose Byron Pringle. So if that happens, you could bring Jarvis Landry in to man the slot, be your primary slot receiver, and do pretty well at it. Now, last year, he certainly had a down season in terms of his overall numbers, 52 grabs, 570 yards, just a couple of touchdowns, but he missed 5 games. He played in 12, but in a lot of those 12, he was injured, played through a shoulder injury. His quarterback, Baker Mayfield, was not healthy, and therefore his level of play suffered because of that as well. I think that impacted Landry's overall numbers. I still think he's a good slot, and I think he's worth signing if you are Kansas City. What do you guys think? Should the Chiefs sign Jarvis Landry? Type S for sign, type P for pass. Another reason he makes sense is if teams keep playing too high safety looks, Landry can kind of man those underneath routes and help get some easy completions. Let me know what you guys think on this one. S for sign, or you can go ahead and type P for pass. From one receiver to another, are the Chiefs interested in Allen Robinson? Well, there's a report out there that apparently that could be the case, and this would be very fascinating for a couple of reasons, which we'll get to in a moment. Now, Charles Goldman tweeted out that NFL Network's Tom Pelissero is reporting that the Chiefs are interested in Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson. A-Rob, of course, is a free agent, and is probably, actually, I think undoubtedly the top wide receiver left on the open market. Maybe was from the beginning once Davante Adams and Chris Godwin got franchise tag. But Allen Robinson, just a couple of years ago, was considered a pretty surefire number one receiver with the numbers he was putting up with pretty bad quarterback play with Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky. Now, make no mistake, A-Rob had a bad year in Chicago. 38 grabs, 410 yards, only had 1 touchdown. I think he was extremely frustrated that he got the franchise tag from Ryan Pace, the Bears GM at the time. He wanted a long-term deal. He felt he had been loyal to Chicago. He did not get one. They tagged him. I don't think he was happy with Matt Nagy, who obviously is on the Chiefs now. We'll talk about that angle in a moment. The constant quarterback shuffle. You wouldn't have to deal with that in Kansas City. You got Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day. You look at the wide receiver depth chart in Kansas City. We talked about this verbally with Jarvis Landry, how he could plug in and play the slot. Imagine Tyreek Hill on one side, Allen Robinson on the other. Maybe you put McCole Hardman in the slot. Maybe Allen Robinson plays some slot for you as well. Certainly Tyreek Hill can do some of that. It's very intriguing on paper. Now I would ask this. Can Allen Robinson and Matt Nagy coexist? There was a report, or actually Robinson flat out said that he tried to set up a meeting with Matt Nagy, and Nagy ghosted him. He didn't show up. So can this work? Could you bring in Allen Robinson and kind of flush all that and say, hey, new slate, new team, no quarterback shuffling. Nagy's not in charge of the offense. He's just the quarterback's coach. Can those two coexist? I'd like to hope so. I mean, Nagy's the quarterback's coach. He's not the head coach. He's not even the offensive coordinator. So the amount of interactions he would have with A-Rob would probably be fairly limited anyway. I think it's an intriguing idea. It would be a different type of receiver than Patrick Mahomes is used to, but maybe that's a good thing to get a guy who can high point the football and give you another red zone option on this offense. Now pick a wide receiver. If you had to pick one, who would you rather sign? Type JL for Jarvis Landry. Type AR for Allen Robinson. I think Robinson's the better player, but maybe Landry's the better fit. He's probably cheaper too. Get your votes in. Let us know down in the comments. Now, we've told you guys that we've partnered up with Rumble, and we are publishing our videos on Rumble now as well. Go give us a follow at rumble.com/ChiefsTV. Uncensored access to the Chiefs Report, plus some occasional exclusive content. Guys, we are the second most watched channel on Rumble, second most followers with 516, trailing just NFL Daily there at the top. Help us get there. Let's catch up to our main NFL channel, rumble.com/ChiefsTV. That is rumble.com/ChiefsTV. A link in the comments and in the description. All right, storyline number 3. Charvarius Ward has signed with the San Francisco 49ers. This happened late last night. Wanted to touch on that today, both on the contract side and what it could mean for the Kansas City Chiefs. 3 years, $42 million, I think like $27 million guaranteed. So a couple of initial thoughts. One, Charvarius Ward got the bag. Good for him on that front. Number 2, worthy of getting a good contract. He had a really good year last year. And number 3, you probably need a corner now if you're Kansas City. I mean, you've got Rashad Fenton, you've got L'Jarius Sneed. That's a good place to start. I don't know if DeAndre Baker is a guy I'd be comfortable starting. I think you could draft a guy. There are some CB2 types that are still out there, like Levi Wallace, Xavier Rhodes. Those are some names. Do you kick the tires on Bashaud Breeland, bring him back for cheap and see if he can fit back into this scheme with Steve Spagnuolo? That might be something I'd look into as a cheaper option. 2 years ago with the Chiefs, Breeland was still really, really good. But now with you losing Charvarius Ward, that's obviously a void you've got to fill. He played really well in 2021 after a not-so-good 2020, but now you're going to have to try and fill that gap if you are the Kansas City Chiefs. Like I said, Fenton and Sneed help you bridge that gap, but you're going to need at least one more corner, whether it comes in free agency or in the draft. So Charvarius Ward lands with the San Francisco 49ers, and we'll see what the Chiefs intend to do at that cornerback position. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Follow me on social media, on Twitter at HGramNFL. You can also follow me on Instagram at HGramNFL. Same handle, different platform. You can find me on both of those places. And, of course, make sure to subscribe to the Chiefs Report as well. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. More videos to come throughout NFL free agency. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you next time.